over me. She's over me. She comes in with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Oh. Oh. Call my name. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Portal and officially our first show of the new year. Now you're here, folks. You're here for this groundbreaking moment. The first Paranormal Portal of 2021 is now. And I hope you're all ready for that. Thank you all for being here with us, of course. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you had a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve celebration and all the holidays and stuff in a whole. I'm just, or as a whole, not in a whole. But it was nice here. It was real quiet. Nothing extraordinary. I spent 2.5 hours with you guys on New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day, I just gelled. I didn't do anything constructive or with much purpose, but I enjoyed the day, and that's what's important, I guess. But I'm not alone here. I have my good friend and my co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, is here with me, huh? So let's unmute him and hear what he's got to say.
My mic was turned off.
It was. Oh, it was on the microphone, yeah.
Yes.
Now I seem really, really loud. Keep talking for a second.
Keep talking. I can barely hear myself.
I know. I'm barely hearing you too. No, I don't hear an echo.
Echo.
No.
Well, maybe I'm just hearing things from the fall off my roof yesterday. Maybe I banged my head on the way down.
Maybe you did. That is really, really soft, though, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy. Yes, it's.
Huh.
It shouldn't be that.
Well, that's pretty normally. Your voice really carries, whereas mine is. I always get comments from people, "Hey, how come you're so quiet and Don's so loud?"
Because Don's loud.
Yeah, I know. You do have a tone of voice that really carries, though. And
I do, yes.
Mine is very.
I sing from the diaphragm.
You sing from your toes. Yeah, absolutely. But welcome, everybody. And again, I hope everybody's doing great. The portal lines will be open throughout the course of the show tonight. If you want to call in and be a part of the discussion, we are absolutely thrilled. I could almost move this back a lot more. We're absolutely thrilled if you want to call in and be a part of it. And the number for the show is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. I remember what it is.
Uh-oh.
I remember what it is. Keep talking.
Keep talking? Oh,
Yeah, I got a
okay.
setting to.
Oh, did you put a noise gate on it again, or
No.
no? What are you doing here?
I'm just pushing your level up.
He's giving me more bottom.
I'm giving Don the big bottom. I'll give you that much.
I got a big enough bottom. It bounced yesterday. I'm just happy there was enough snow there to break my fall.
Me too, as it were. There, I think that sounds a little better.
Wow, there we go.
That's a little more mild, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it looks like we're balanced.
Sounds a lot better.
Okay, well there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's awesome. We appreciate it. Happy New Year to you, and thank you so much. That helps out a ton. A ton,
I say.
It does.
I like Thomas tonight. Thomas has in the chat, Thomas Thornburg has the best comment yet.
What did he say?
He says this is the best damn channel ever.
Oh, we love you, Thomas.
Finally a recognition.
It'd be cool because he has Thomas in his names, so that automatically is a cool factor.
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I think that sounds good. I think we're representing here, and
so Kirsten and Thomas are at the top of the list tonight.
woo, you guys are on the most favored listener list right now. Anybody else wants to join that list, you know what you got to do. No, I'm just kidding. Just start trolling.
Fish on.
Yeah. It's great to see you guys, but we're happy.
Oh, can I take a second here and
By all
say
means.
thank you to everybody for sending me birthday wishes. I really do appreciate that. It made my day. It helped after I bounced.
Yeah, Don, you actually bound. You
did.
fell off your roof.
Fell off the damn roof. Yep. Yep.
How are you not in traction?
Well, I feel like I should be.
Well, that might be true.
Turn 50, fall off roof.
Yeah, check.
Not exactly. Yeah, it's off the bucket list.
Wow, that's not good. But I'm glad you're okay. That's that's plenty scary.
Good, yeah. Yeah, it's sore, but yeah.
So you had a good birthday though?
Yeah, all I did was I made a rib roast and just kind of chilled out and had meat.
Nice, well done.
Eat meat.
Meat is good. Meat is always on the path to happiness as far as we're concerned.
Yes. It's about 130 degrees inside.
That's
perfect.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely medium rare right there, huh?
Well, it's a little closer to
medium.
Little rarer than medium, but yes.
Okay.
It was good though.
That's all I know. I don't know much about it, but I know how to make a prime rib.
To go on it.
Oh, see, you just killed it. You were doing beautifully there for a minute, and then you said horseradish.
Horseradish.
I got a horror story from horseradish.
Okay, go for it. Horror stories are what we're about. Go ahead.
All right, so this is not really paranormal, but it was a paranormal experience for me because I came face to face with evil.
Ramen and spam soup. Yes, that actually works for me too. Good one, Pappy.
So I was like 18 years old. I had like no money, and I finally got some money up, and and I was just telling my cousin this story today too, because he was talking about making prime rib and his cool horseradish sauce.
Yes.
Oh, yuck! But so I was a hungry guy at 18, and I finally had enough money to take myself and my girlfriend to Arby's.
Oh.
And we sat down at Arby's, and I love beef and cheddars, right? Beef and cheddars were just. Are you
going to tell me that the horsey sauce?
No, don't ruin my story. So I'd never heard of horsey sauce. I'd never ever tried horseradish, but I love beef and cheddars. I'd loved them my whole life. So I got these beef and cheddars, and I'm all excited. Sat down at the table, and I'm like Pavlovian drooling all over myself because there's my beef and cheddars.
Moment.
Yeah, I was really like, I was tasting it in my mind, and it was a beautiful moment. The angels were singing, the clouds parted, and I peeled back the wrapper, and I'm all set to go. And my ex-girlfriend goes, "You ever try horsey sauce?" And I'm like, "No, what's horsey sauce?"
Oh boy.
Oh, she goes, "Oh my God, it's so good. You're gonna love it." So she proceeds to get me horsey sauce. Piles it on my beef and cheddar. And I'm like, oh, good. And now I'm really excited because I'm going to have a new flavor in there, too. I take a bite, and it was like the tears of Jesus rolling down my cheeks. And like, I swear to God, hell started cackling, and the clouds burst into fiery lightning. Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Welcome to my world, Brent.
Yes. Took you long enough. Yeah, it destroyed. I hate horseradish. Oh, God. And I'm like doing panic wipes with napkins on my tongue, trying to get it off of there. It just killed it. It was horrible. I hate that stuff so bad.
Oh,
that's absolutely horrible. Because
the sad part too is like I saved up for this. This is my moment, and I'm trying to wipe that stuff off on napkins and everything, and I still had to eat the rest of it because I was starving. Oh.
I can eat that horsey sauce. Not on anything. What was that?
Oh my God!
That's what the Midwesterners call mayonnaise.
Oh no, they don't. I'm Midwestern.
I know. Ugh. Mayonnaise is too hot for you. I know.
I've just brought you into one of my mental scars.
I can't eat Miracle Whip. It's too spicy.
Miracle Whip, whatever. You can still be muted, you know. I love my Miracle Whip. Hey, Titan. Thank you, Titan. Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, my God.
Says, Happy New Year, Brent and Don. Portal peeps, welcome to the 50 Club Scratchy Lovin's.
Yes.
And does this put me on the most favored list?
It does, yes.
Maybe somewhere.
Puts you near the top.
You are definitely on there, brother. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, guys. You guys are wonderful. So we got a lot of show for you guys tonight.
We do. Yeah.
And, now you know a little bit more about me personally and how my heart broke because of horsey sauce.
Jeez.
Oh, but anyway, how about we go to the news?
Somebody asked me the other day, says, how do you like your horseradish? I said, raw. Just give it to me burned hot.
Oh, Lord.
I love raw.
It's just so wrong.
Did you got some news?
This in a recent press release from hell, they are cackling at the takeover of horseradish sauce. It's horrible stuff. But that's not really news, is it, folks? It is, as far as you know. Now you've learned why I hate horseradish. And it broke my heart at a very young age.
I'm so sorry about that.
I know. I'm healing still.
Yes.
But we've got some news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk, where we'll be covering that news. Where the hell is it now? Something scrolled and wrecked my place holdings here. Okay. So this is kind of this. There's a lot coming in on the new year already as far as UFO stuff, and I guess we can just dive right into it. This is from unearthlynews.com, ladies and gentlemen, unearthlynews.com, and this has to do with FAA notified after a large blue UFO was seen above Oahu and appeared to drop into the ocean, and this was on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve?
Yeah, yep, New Year's Eve. Yep.
Nice.
So this is on New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen, and it appeared to drop into the ocean. So I think since there's a video element to this, as always, I'll copy the URL and put it into the chats for our... Are there any? No, there's nobody there. Oh, Bam's there. Bam's there. How you doing, Bam?
And you got to cater to Sophia too,
Yeah,
Sophia
I gotta
needs to
feed some Sophia some love there.
Let the AI figure it out.
All right, so this
What the
is...
hell is this crap, Brent?
Yeah. I don't know. Did you know this? I made up some new scenes too. Check this out. So I got this one, and then I got this one, and then I got this one.
Oh.
So nice. It's all in the news setting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's very Tim. What's his name? Tim Pool.
Oh,
Very Tim.
I'm very Tim Pooley. All right. So FAA notified
Tim
Pooley.
With wasabi.
Oh, that's tempura. Sorry.
FAA notified after large blue UFO seen above Oahu appeared to drop into the ocean. There is a video with this, and I suppose we'll check that out in just a second, but let me read the article first. It says, Honolulu, Hawaii, an unidentified flying object spotted in the evening sky over leeward Oahu prompted witnesses to call 911 on Tuesday. Oh, it's on Tuesday, okay. So the sighting happened about 8:30 p.m., and it says, there are multiple videos of what appears to be a glowing oblong mass, both in the sky and in the water. Officials said, or from the Federal Aviation Administration, say there were no actual aircraft incidents or accidents in this area at the time. But multiple witnesses reported seeing a large blue object fall out of the sky and into the ocean. In one video, a woman can be heard saying, something is in the sky. What is that? Miss Atina Sape told Hawaii News Now she captured the image at 8:26 p.m. near Haleakala Avenue. Haleakala Avenue in Nanakuli. And I don't know. Not long after, a woman named Mariah spotted what looked like the same object passing over Princess Kahuna's estates. And it took up I look up and it was like, that. And she said, I started calling my husband and them because they're all up in the garage. And I was like, hey, come on over here. Look at this. See what you see. See if you can see what I see. And they all said, yeah. So the 38-year-old says she's never been a believer in UFOs, but the bright blue object had them so intrigued they jumped in the car and started following it. I don't know what it was, she said. This one was going so fast. The journey ended less than 3 miles from where it began. She says they stopped the car on Farrington Highway in front of the Board of Water Supply building after the object appeared to drop into the ocean. Wow. In one of Mariah's videos, you can hear her say, it went land in the water, whatever it is. She described it as being larger than a telephone pole and says she never heard it make any sound. We called 911, Mariah said. We have like one cop, somebody for come out and come check them out.
Very, very pigeon.
Yeah, very much. And I apologize. I'm not trying to brutalize that. It's just, that's how it's written. While officers were on the scene, Mariah says they spotted a second light. My husband went to look up and he seen the white one coming. She said the white one was smaller, was coming in the same direction as the blue one. They lost sight of the object after it passed over a nearby water fountain, or mountain rather. Thursday morning, we asked Honolulu Police if investigators figured out what had fallen in the water, and a spokesman told us they didn't have any information. Meanwhile, FAA spokesman Ian Gregor said the agency received a report from police Tuesday night about a possible plane going down in the area, but had no aircraft disappear off radars and no reports of overdue or missing aircraft. Although Mariah's had a couple of days to think about it, she says she's still baffled by what she saw. To this day, I don't know, she said, laughing. If you guys can find out what it was, I know I like no, you know. Okay, so let's look at this video element that's included here. And again, we're just going to look at the video itself and not, oh, geez.
Maybe.
Of course. Well, I got to get rid of the ad. Look away, folks. Look away.
Something is in the sky. What is that?
And it's not just fireworks lighting up the sky in West Oahu. Perplexed residents on the leeward coast are searching for answers after a lit-up, unidentified flying object reportedly plunged into the ocean near Ulehava Beach Park. Though there are multiple videos of what appears to be a glowing oblong mass both in the sky and in the water, Honolulu police notified aviation officials about the bizarre sighting. But as our Allison Blair reports, it remains a mystery.
Officials from the Federal Aviation Administration say there were no aircraft incidents or accidents in this area Tuesday night, but multiple witnesses report seeing a large blue object fall out of the sky and into the ocean.
Something is in the sky. What is that?
This video was taken by Misitina Sape at 8:26 Tuesday night near Haleakala Avenue in Nanakuli. Not long after, a woman named Mariah spotted the same thing passing over Princess Kahanu Estates.
I look up, and then I was like, oh, Started calling my husband in because we was all in the garage. I was like, hey, look up there. See what I see. They all said, yeah.
The 38-year-old says she's never
That is
really been a
crazy.
believer in UFOs, but the bright blue object had them so intrigued they jumped in the car and started following it.
I don't know what it was. This one was going so fast.
The journey ended less than 3 miles from where it began on Farrington Highway in front of the Board of Water Supply building after the object appeared to drop into the ocean.
Oh, the going land in the water, whatever it is.
She described it as being larger than a telephone pole and says she never heard it make any sound.
We called 911 if I have, like,
Called
call
411.
for somebody to come out and come check them out.
While officers were on scene, she says they spotted a second light.
My husband went look up and he seen the white one coming. The white one was smaller, was coming in the same direction as the blue one.
They lost sight of the object after it passed over a nearby mountain. This morning, we asked Honolulu police if investigators figured out what fell in the water. A spokesperson told us they didn't have any information. Meanwhile, officials from the FAA said they received a report from police Tuesday night
Chacha said
about a
it's a
possible
bear.
plane down in the area, but had no aircraft disappear off radars and no reports of overdue or missing aircraft.
Bro, that's like a UFO, bro.
Although Mariah's had a couple days to think about it, she says she's still baffled by what she saw.
To this day, I don't know. If you guys can find out what it was, I'll let you know, you know what I mean?
Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
There you go.
Interesting.
That's pretty crazy. That is wild stuff. How do I get out of that now? There we go.
There you go.
All right. So special thanks
Something is in
to Hawaii News Now, who provided that clip for us, even though they didn't know they were gonna.
You know, I thought for sure that they were going to say something like they jumped in the car and disappeared.
Right.
Please alert missing 411.
Right. Well, there you go. So that is the UFO report, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen. And I don't know if anything has come of it, but you can see the footage. You could see that that's some pretty wild stuff, huh, Don?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
I got nothing, but that's the first report.
It's an oblong blue light,
Just an
bigger than a
oblong-
telephone pole.
bigger than a telephone pole. And the white one is apparently a little smaller, but you know that one they didn't have any footage of apparently.
That was a fence post. It was the size of a fence post.
It was a much smaller post, flying through the air. Here's another one. I got to wrap this up pretty quick because we're going to run into the break. But apparently, and here's the deal. Everybody, I know that whole bill that just got passed through, the finance stuff, it's very disappointing to a lot of people, obviously. But
What?
apparently, one of the perks of
Wow.
apparently one of the perks of having a 7,000 some page report that was delivered to Congress like a day before it has to be voted on is that they can sneak things in there. And apparently, somebody snuck something in there that has to do with, get this, it has to do with them having a disclosure order of having like 180 days to provide full disclosure, and it got passed.
Wow.
It passed all the houses and stuff, and so it says UFO information must be disclosed in 180 days according to new COVID relief bill. That's like, well, that's kind of some shenanigans, but that's at least something good coming from it. The 180-day countdown is currently underway for the Pentagon and spy agencies to reveal what they all know about UFOs. 180-day UFO disclosure started when President Donald Trump signed the latest COVID-19 stimulus bill. At the end of the countdown, the Pentagon and other spy agencies will have to reveal all that they know about UFOs to the American public. Apparently, the provision was not featured in the nearly 6,000-word bill. Instead, it was added as a committee comment attached to the annual Intelligence Authorization Act. In addition to the stimulus, UFO, and other intelligence, the bill also announces that illegal streaming for commercial profit will become a felony. Okay. I don't know why they popped that in there, but I don't even know what that means. What's illegal streaming for commercial profit? I don't know. That's very ambiguous. Well, there might not be a portal pretty quick. I don't know what that means. Donald Trump signed the $2.3 trillion COVID stimulus bill late on Sunday, which will benefit movie theaters, the entertainment industry, small businesses, and citizens of the United States.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, barely. While all of this is definitely good news, people are starting to get excited about the UFO disclosure news. So that's a kind of a side piece of that. All I can say is, yeah, I mean, there's no teeth to it, though. So
No.
what if they just say, nope, we're not doing that?
We're not doing it.
And- 'cause all they-
National security.
That's exactly right. They only have to say 2 words, national security. We can't.
Yep.
Sorry, but it would jeopardize national security, and boom, it's a dead issue. But kind of cool. At least somebody's trying.
Hey, give Nessie the clap.
Oh, cool. There you go, Nessie. Was it good for you?
She made a $5 donation. I was wondering if you were gonna catch that. You're like, oh, okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nessie. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Bunches.
Nessie.
That's very, very sweet. Says, because I want to be a teacher's pet too. Well, you are now.
Well, you've always been
I
teacher's
mean,
pet.
now just full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, we don't expect anybody to ever give, and please only do it if you can. If it's possible for you to do it, fantastic. But I don't want anybody to feel like, well, everyone else is doing it, I should too. I really can't, but I should. Please don't.
Don't. If you don't have it, don't.
Yeah, if you don't have it, don't.
You just being here gives us analytics.
Absolutely.
Oh, Cha-Cha!
Give us a like. Give us a.
Well, now you got to give Cha-Cha the clap, too.
and she's gonna get a bonus.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you. No, that's awesome. What do I got? Who do I got? Well, oh my God, I can't even read that one.
Oh, MCAT!
MCAT.
Woohoo! Eyelash flutters. Here we go.
You're getting them, buddy. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. But please, if you can't give financially, just spread the word. Let people know about the portal. That'd be awesome. It would mean a lot to us. So, only if you're able to do things like that, fantastic. If you're not, please don't feel pressured in any way. It's hard time. It's hard time for all of us.
Yeah.
So we don't want to encourage anybody to do anything that they can't comfortably do. So help us out. Spread the word. Post it to your social media. That's huge for us.
Yes.
That would be huge.
And you can get the clap, too.
Yeah. You bring back a link and we'll give you the clap. Apparently there's shots for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a brief little rash and it's over. I heard.
Elaine, Elaine. Oh my goodness.
It's the clap portal, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. How you doing? Good to see you. That sounds bad, Don. We're spreading it like a bad rash. Yep. So
We're going to break here shortly.
we are. We got about 30 seconds before the break, ladies and gentlemen. So and obviously a lot more portal to go. We'll finish up the news on the other side too. So which is great. I mean, we'll get as far as we get. This is the way the show rocks. So we'll just have fun doing it. So
Oh boy.
I don't know. You never know what's going to happen on the portal, Don.
Apparently not.
I love these sound effects. They're so fun.
I'm surprised you don't have a second bank in yet.
Makes you wonder what's next. Come on. Tough crowd.
Yeah.
All right, there's the bell, folks. We're going to go to a break, so don't go away. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. We're also simulcasting on the network, so we got to take half-hour breaks, just if you're new to this,
Just
so you
hang out.
understand. We'll be right back in just moments. right, folks, we are back at it here on the Paranormal Portal, and thank you so much for being here with us. It's our fun times, and you guys are making this amazing. It's a wonderful time. I was just telling Don about Ethan's channel. Ethan's got his own channel, and he does tasting things. And it's just these.
Does he do any horseradish tastings?
No, don't do horseradish tasting, Ethan. Just as a personal request, don't do horseradish. But
you don't have to do horseradish. You can do horsey sauce.
oh no, that's even worse because that's what scarred me initially. But no, it's a cool little channel, and he's doing different taste tests. Now I got to tell you, it's a real ASMR experience because Ethan's got this real calm, quiet voice.
Unlike mine.
Yeah, unlike Don's. But he does a good job. And he's got this really unique way of tasting stuff that always catches my eye. It's like, oh, my God, that's awesome. Because I'll tell you why. Ethan, when you go like this, my dad used to do that. I swear to God he did. And every time I see you do it, it makes me smile. Because it reminds me of my dad.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
I see he did a Sprecher root beer test. So I had the best ginger beer the other night.
Oh, nice.
It was it's a soda. It's not a beer. It's a soda. But it's Australian. Oh my God, it was so awesome. It was so good. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, okay.
But it was in it reminded me of a Heidelberg bottle. You remember Heidelberg beer? It came in those like barrel bottles.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
I was like, oh my God.
I do.
But it was so good. So maybe you ought to try that one.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. But
Gosh, I've
I've
had that one, and I've eaten that one. All these ramens he's tried. I've tried a lot of these.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then you could definitely tune in and give her your own opinion.
I like spicy stuff.
Yeah, Ethan's done some real spicy stuff too.
Crawfish too. Mud bugs.
Yes. All right. So we're still doing the news, folks. We ended up with a longer news segment, but there's lots of news to cover here. So we got the 180 days. Did that. This one's kind of new, coming out of LA. Yeah, and this one's been hitting the news lately. This is from coasttocoast.com.
Yes, it was Aussie. It was Bundaberg.
Okay.
It's good stuff. God, I loved it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So this is from Australia, from down under. Let me just, does he exist? But I'm not going to play that video because I think that's somebody's compilation. But anyway, there's a mysterious jetpack man captured on video. And you can go to coasttocoast.com, coasttocoastam.com, and check out the video that they link in here yourself if you want. But it says, a flight instructor based in Los Angeles may have recorded footage of the elusive individual or individuals who have baffled airport authorities, pilots, and the FAA. Apparently flying in an area reserved for aircraft practice and training, an instructor from the Sling Pilot Academy in Torrance, California, managed to capture a few seconds of what appears to be a figure wearing a jetpack flying at about 3,000 feet over the ocean off Palos Verdes, California, just south of Los Angeles. Catalina Island appears in the background for part of the clip. A quote from the school's Instagram account reads, the video appears to show a jetpack, but it could also be a drone or some other object. If it is a guy in a jetpack, then it remains to be seen whether it's legal test flight. It's unclear if the figure is actually traveling under its own power, since the relative motion of the aircraft from which it was recorded may have caused the object to appear as if it was moving, even if it was something such as a balloon carried along by winds. At last, 3 sightings of the mystery aeronaut have been reported, the first in August by 2 separate aircraft on approach to LA International Airport, also at about 3,000 feet as well. Okay. The next was on October 14th by China Airlines pilot, also seen near LAX at 6,000 feet in altitude, and this latest incident may or may not be related. The footage also bears an uncanny resemblance to many videos of so-called flying humanoids captured in the past. So I'm not going to show the video because, I don't have anybody's permission for that. And it's not a news video, so, I mean, it might be, but I don't think it is. Oh, it's actually from the school, the pilot's sling. Oh, maybe I can show it then. Let me put the link in TFR for BAM. copy.
So Kathy in chat says, I love to listen to the banter going on between the two of you. I learned never to take a drink when I'm listening to the two of you hosting your podcasts and videos.
Drink at your own risk.
Blow it out your nose.
That's possible.
That's kind of awesome.
That's a good thing. Don't do the spit takes. Okay, so I'm going to play this video. I don't know. I don't know how long it is or anything. It's just 40-some seconds. And it's a free advertisement for that. Does he exist? Oh, there it is. Sure, right there.
Wow. Hey, so they put captions right over the top of it.
Yeah. Perfect place for it. Nobody will miss it, Don. Yeah.
That's at 3,000 feet?
Yeah.
Wow, it's above clouds.
I wonder if he's got
some kind of a respirator?
Yeah.
Oxygen?
You wonder, huh?
Yeah.
He must have, right?
He's got to.
I don't know how long a jetpack will fly, but I'm betting it's long enough to pass out if you don't have enough oxygen. And the other sighting was at like 6,000 feet, so
wow,
that's pretty enormous.
Wow.
Well, there you go, folks.
That's crazy.
There's finally captured on film. It's been reported a few times lately, but now it's captured on film. Whether or not that's actually a person, who knows? But
there's this game app called Jetpack Joyride.
Okay.
Absolutely love it.
You absolutely love it.
It's been around for like ever.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sorry, but anyhow,
well,
yeah, that was actually pretty interesting.
That's pretty bold.
Yeah,
that's plenty bold. But anyway, there you go. That's I think what we're going to cover for the news. You got anything else, Don? Newsworthy?
Other than, I hope there's snow if that jetpack falters. Broke my fall.
It's a little bit higher than your roof, though, I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to have a hell of a roof to equate that.
I think that's the news.
That's the news, folks. All right, folks, back to the regular portal, as always. Or if there is a regular porter. You know what? I didn't even turn on the moon, Don.
You didn't turn on the moon?
I forgot the moon.
Blue moon.
We can make it.
You be dancing alone.
There's the blue moon now, Don.
Oh.
All right, so, folks, we are going to continue on with our journey through the portal. There's lots more stuff. Where was I? I got a few articles pulled up. A couple from Brent Swanser tonight that I really want to read, just because I love the guy's work. He's just always amazing. This is one that I wanted to showcase as well. I kind of meant this for the news, but I think it got a little long, so I'm just going to cover it here. But it's kind of exciting because there's some work going on, and granted, this may not qualify as paranormal, but it's definitely right along with sci-fi. Or science fact now as it works out. But what I wanted to cover was this article, which is from iflscience.com. And as scientists have created a Star Trek-like plane that flies using ion thrusters and no fuel. Now, that's not an actual depiction of it. Just
I hope not, because that looks like a pod racer.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does, right? But no, it's quite a bit different. The way that they create the ion propulsion is pretty interesting, because I did read through this a little bit ago. It's a scientific. Let me blow this up. This is like microfiche. I can't read microfiche. All right. Scientists have taken a major step towards creating an aircraft of the future, one powered by an ion drive rather than using moving parts and fuel like conventional aircraft. In a paper published today in Nature, a team led by Stephen Barrett from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, described how they created a so-called electro-aerodynamic powered plane, one that uses solid-state propulsion, meaning no propellers or jet engines with expendable fuel. Wow. The future of flight shouldn't be things with propellers and turbines, Barrett said in the video below. It should be more like what you see in Star Trek, with a kind of blue glow and something that silently glides through the air. This breakthrough has not been possible before because of our technology simply wasn't advanced enough. As far back as 1921, scientists have been unsuccessful in trying to develop something similar, once mistaken for anti-gravity technology, but now the team says that the technology advances have enabled this to happen. In their tests from 2016 to 2018, they created an aircraft with a wingspan of 5 meters, 16 feet, that weighed 2.45 kilograms,
Wow.
5.4 pounds, and has a number of thin electrodes running across its wings. And at the front of these are thin wires, while at the back is an aerofoil, a curved surface to produce the lift, like on a regular plane wing. The thin wires at the front are charged with a positive 20,000 volts, while the aerofoil at the back is charged to negative 20,000 volts, creating a strong electric field. At the front, electrons are removed from nitrogen molecules in the air to produce ions. And as these accelerate to the back, they produce an ionic wind, which gives the plane thrust.
Huh.
So that's kind of interesting, right? Wow. The basic idea is that if you ionize air, which means removing an electron from it, you can accelerate the air with an electric field, Barrett told IFL Science, like the force you get when you rub a balloon to your head. Over the course of 10 test flights, the plane successfully flew about 60 meters, 200 feet in about 12 seconds in a gym that the team hired to use, with a thrust efficiency of about 2.6%. But as the speed increases, the efficiency of the system increases, just like a regular plane. They're theoretically at 670 miles, 1,080 kilometers per hour, faster than a passenger jet. It's 50% efficient. The technique is similar to how ion engines are used in some spacecraft to travel through space. There are some significant similarities, said Barrett. However, these spacecraft rely on ionizing a fuel such as xenon gas to produce the thrust. The plane developed by the MIT team does not require propellant, instead relying only on the thin wires at an off-the-shelf lithium polymer battery. At the moment, the technology is limited, with the plane being very much a prototype, but the future possibilities are exciting. In the near term, this thrust system could be used to power small drones, making them near silent as they wouldn't have any propellers, like regular drones. I don't know yet whether you'll see a large aircraft carrying people at any time soon, but obviously I'd be very excited if that was the case, Barrett said in a video. Tests on the plane are continuing, with the team now able to turn the plane in the air with the remote control rather than just flying in a straight line. Going forward, they want to try and remove the filaments that are hanging off the plane, with more tests to follow in the coming years. At the end of their paper, the team compares the length of the plane's flight, 12 seconds, with that of the Wright brothers in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, in 1904, 11 seconds. The world's first heavier-than-air flight, although that one did include a pilot. While this flight is perhaps not on the same magnitude, some of the future possibilities are certainly exciting. It's possible to fly planes that are a solid state, and we demonstrated that for the first time, said Barrett.
Wow.
That's really exciting.
It is cool. That is really cool.
There is a video here. There it is, flying. Huh. That's pretty cool, actually. And it'd be dead silent. That'd be awesome. Because I think noise pollution is, it's a pain, right? Noise pollution is a pain.
That's cool.
Right, so you could live right next to the airport and it wouldn't even bother you. Property values are going up. Buy it near airports. Very cool. I think that's exciting stuff. I guess I can put this link in the TFR as well, because I know Bam's in there and he might enjoy that video. Here you go, Bam. Just for you, brother. I'm bringing it to you. Okay. So I thought that was a fun article, exciting article, because I love the idea. You look at our technologies, folks. Right now, on your desk in front of you or in your pocket is a computer that's basically, was science fiction.
Well, more powerful than anything that took us to the moon.
Well, yeah, a calculator's almost more powerful than that, But seriously, it's like the advent of our computing systems and efficiencies and new elements being created to even for like things such as construction elements that could be used or maybe are going to be used. Everything advanced except for the aviation and space exploration. It's all been rockets and propellers. Right. Jets are just a rocket engine. So nothing's changed for so long, and it seems, right. How did that happen? Well, it's nice to see somebody finally move that bar and make that more possible. So phone line's working again. Yes, they are. The phones are working, and so is the call, apparently, that came through it. Let's get to the phones and see what's going on. This is area code 807. You're on the air.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Who are we talking to tonight?
Barry.
Oh, hey, Barry.
I hope we can understand you, brother. How's everything? How's everything in your world?
Not too bad.
Good. Happy New Year.
Likewise.
Thank you. What'd you do to celebrate?
No, nothing much.
Oh,
Just relaxing, into music.
oh, okay. Listen to music. Gotcha. So what's on your mind tonight, brother?
Well, I'm trying to remember more information about Bigfoot.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I gotta have a bit more information about Bigfoot.
Oh,
I
okay.
just remember that.
Yeah, please. More information. Great.
Yeah. Whenever a Bigfoot goes to the subterranean during the winter time, he goes through the water. Goes through the water to the underground.
He goes to the underground, did you say?
I said he goes. He goes through the water.
Okay.
To the underground. Which makes me think that there's a correlation between Sasquatch and water.
Are you understanding, Don?
I'm sorry?
Are you understanding?
Well, remember he called and he said that he feels that Bigfoot are underground dwellers and they come up.
Okay. Yep.
So that's kind of what he's talking about is they're going underwater. Now, Barry, are you talking about them using like a cave underwater to enter and exit the inner areas?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, keep paying attention, Don, because I don't know, my ears don't work really well for this.
So now, was this something you witnessed, or is this your hypothesis? Is this what you're feeling?
No, so it's from what I heard it a long time ago.
And did you hear that from like elders, or was it just other people spitballing things?
From elders.
The elders, yeah, that's cool.
That's wild. Wow. So they go underwater and they hit subterranean caverns in the water. Wow.
Subterranean room.
Oh, I suppose because the underground would stay at about 57 degrees pretty consistently. It'd be well above freezing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really exciting. That's really exciting stuff. Are you able to have these discussions often with the elders or not very often?
Not very often.
Not often, yeah.
From my memory.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because I do remember him mentioning that he had these conversations. He's had a bunch of these conversations before, and so it's been a while, that he's mentioned it before. So it's really cool that you're bringing that back up and remembering that.
Right. That is really cool. I mean, the thing is Barry, I think your peoples and other First Nations tribes, you guys have a history that goes thousands of years with, in the presence of these beings. And there's so much I think that your culture could teach us about, these enigmatic creatures that are out there and we just don't know anything about. So I really am honored that you call in and share these things. I really do apologize. It's just something about the tone of your voice. My ears don't catch it. It's really strange, but I'm glad yours do, Don.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I sound like Boom Howard.
I'm sorry?
I sound like Boom Howard. Yeah.
Oh,
No, you don't sound like Boomhauer.
No, you're not a boomhauer. I mean,
It's just you've got that way far northern accent.
Yeah.
And that's just all it is to it.
It's just very different.
Yeah.
I got a very Midwestern sense of hearing, so.
And a palate.
and a palate, absolutely. So, no, that's really cool, Barry. I hope that you'll continue to keep us appraised as you learn anything new, or if you feel like sharing, we'd love to hear from you.
My pleasure.
All right, brother.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks for calling in, and it's a pleasure talking to you, and Happy New Year once again.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
All right,
Bye.
take care.
Yeah, but that's really cool because he does come up with those memories that he's had, of these conversations he's had, and I remember very specifically he called up and said that they come from, but he didn't mention before them coming from the water and underwater caves. That's kind of that would actually make a lot of sense in a way because you never see them come and go. You know, and most people, if somebody sees a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, you know, enter a cave, they're going to follow him into the cave.
Right.
But you can't follow underground or underwater now, can you?
Right. And
That's probably got big lungs.
And just think about that. I mean, especially in the north, where there's snow. Well, if you followed a trackway to the water, it'd be like, well, I'm done.
See ya.
It's in the water.
I'm not a polar bear.
Yep. And you just maybe cruise the shoreline, look for anywhere it might have got out. Nope, nothing. Okay, I'm done. It's just, you know, it just disappeared somehow.
Right.
But then to disappear under the water into a cavern, that's pretty brilliant.
Right.
You know, it's a great way to keep their presence masked. Yeah, I don't know. Just the palate got a little thick there. But anyway, it's very cool. Yeah, the phones are working, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to call in, 720-923-0500. That's the numbers for fun here in the portal, and we love to hear from you. And if I can't understand you, Don probably will. Between the two of us, one of us will.
We'll get it figured out.
But I got a couple of, as I said, a couple of Brent sponsored. But
I guess Barry lost a pup.
Oh,
There's a disease going on with pups and dogs in his area. Sorry to hear that, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's tough. It's funny because, I don't know, for some reason today, you know, I like to surf bunches of videos because I'm always looking for anything that's new and interesting in the paranormal. But on the way, I always end up catching these weird videos of like there was a crow I think it was in England. And there was a hedgehog crossing the road, but the hedgehog was getting all freaked out from the cars. So it tucked into this ball in the middle of the road. Well, that's not going to work. That's not a good technique. The crow sees this, comes down, and is yelling at the hedgehog, and the hedgehog doesn't move, so it pecks him until he moves a few feet, and then he'd stop, and the crow would get all mad again and come peck his butt again until he got across the road. I'm like, my God, that's brilliant. You know, there's this communication. You know, we often regard animals as these peripheral things, and you know, pet owners of course know that these animals have spirit. They got, you know, they got souls, they have intelligence, they love to such an incredible amount, but you know, it's still hard to see them and look at how much they really do understand. You know, and that to me is just almost magical. I mean, it really brings a whole new level to these beings that are around us that we really, you know, haven't taken the time to truly figure out.
Right.
So I love those videos. But anyway,
and just so everybody knows, Stacy Lynn has been a long time listener.
Stacy's
like years. OG. Yeah, she's really OG.
Yeah, she's from way back. I mean, she's back from the TFR days.
Yeah.
Before we even did YouTube. Yep. Stacy's been part of the family forever. So good to see you again, Stacy. We missed you, and it's great to see it pop up again. Hope everything's been going good for you guys. And Happy New Year to all of you guys out there, of course.
Absolutely.
We're just thrilled to be here.
Cha-cha, you're OG-ish.
Everybody's
like,
wonderful.
We chop liver. You know, pate is chopped liver, and that's about $300 an ounce.
Group hug. Come on, bring it in, everybody. We're all family here. All right, so we got more to go through, but unfortunately, we don't have. We only have a couple minutes before the break. So let me just say that following the Paranormal Portal, if you're listening to TFR or iHeart or TuneIn or TalkStream Live, those are the other networks that we're simulcasting on. But coming up after the portal, after our 2-hour run, is The Spaces Between with Paisley Wild. And she'll be coming. Do you know what she's talking about tonight?
No.
Okay. We don't know what she's talking about. But,
I have no clue.
But suffice it to say, it should be enjoyable. She's a wonderful person, a dear friend of ours. So support her show if you could too. That would be great. But yeah, we're going to be going to break here in literally 2 minutes.
Again?
Yeah, 2 minutes, dude. Well, a minute and a half. So.
Well, I'm going to show it. When I get on Paisley's show tonight, I'm going to show everybody my new my Yule present, basically.
What?
I got a new athame.
A new what?
Athame.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like, what's an athame?
What's an athame?
It's a witch's blade.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
It's made out of selenite.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very cool. Yes. So Don's going to be a powerful spellcaster soon. So everybody, be nice to Don.
Good for cutting ties. Like, bye-bye negativity.
There you go. He's gonna be smiting his ties.
Smiting.
Brent as
Is
Homer
it smite
Simpson.
or smitten?
Brent, I'm always anxious to hear your new segment. Is it starting soon? Well, actually, you missed it. I did the comments from the cheap seats on Thursday night. We did them. I don't get a lot of bad comments, so the new segment is comments from the cheap seats.
Because nobody dares.
Well, usually, I do respond to people.
A rabid fan base.
Yeah, we do have a rabid fan base, and I don't think most people would ever, dream of walking into the chum pool talking smack, because they would end up leaving in chunks. But
in cha-cha chunks.
Yeah, that's right.
Being all cha-cha'd up.
But the comments from the cheap seats are more for like on YouTube comments. Every once in a while, I get these really socially challenged people that come in and they just want to. The
unknown says, "I'll leave you some if you want."
Yeah, that might work, brother. I really don't like them, but I figure if they're going to be jerks and leave them, then I'm going to do my best to make them famous. Yep. All right, guys, we got to go to the hour break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes because we're on the network, so we got to take the break. So don't go away. We'll be right back with another hour of the Paranormal Portal in just moments.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. Just make sure that you're well fed. Yeah.
those she's with, they're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force, it is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And years and years and years, folks. Welcome back. Hour number 2 is upon us now here on the Paranormal Portal. And as such... What?
It's a happy little accidents. Apparently somebody said it was a happy accident. And Nessie says a happy little accident sounds like a brand for incontinence pants. Oh, boy.
Sure. All right. We got a call here on the board, Don.
Sweet. Who's on the phone?
I don't know. Let's find out. This is area code 425. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello. How you doing?
Hi, Brent. Hey, Don.
Hi.
Hey, this is Aiden.
Hey,
I'm calling
Aiden.
from Washington.
Nice. Nice to hear from you. How you
I'm
doing?
doing all right. How you guys doing?
Good. Happy New Year, brother.
Yeah. You as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
I wanted to share some of the encounters that my family and I've had when I lived over in north central Washington, Chelan County.
By all means, please. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, this was back when I was 11 years old. It was the summer of 2003. Moved from Sitka, Alaska. That's in southeast Alaska. It's a small fishing town. And we moved down here. My dad got a better job in the area. And he was also looking to retire. He wanted to move away from Alaska for that. Sick of the rain and all.
Okay.
And I went down with my mom and my older brother and sister and my 2 younger brothers. There were 5 of us.
Okay.
And I moved over there to the area around. It's close to Leavenworth, Washington. Not to be confused with the prison.
Okay.
Yeah, Bavarian. It's on Highway 97. But anyway, we got this house there that it's really far back off of Highway 97, kind of back in the woods near the Wenatchee National Forest. And it was built by a mountaineer and his friends back in, I think it was like the 70s or 60s. I think it was built on an older foundation that was there back when around that area, Washington, they were doing mining, gold, silver. And anyway, when we moved there, it's built like a log cabin, where it was when last I lived there. And it had the previous residents, the latest ones, had a pen for hogs and a chicken coop.
Okay.
They kept some livestock. They also had imported, because I don't think they're native here, some sugar maple trees.
Oh, wow.
So they harvested in the winter.
Okay.
Yeah. The nearest neighbor was a man from, he was Estonian, but he worked for a logging company from Switzerland.
Okay.
And he had his crew. He lived there part-time anyway. So anyway, we moved down there 2003, and we were rather excited. The house was pretty large. It was in the woods, of course. And there was a hot tub that still worked and a porch in the back off to the, and it was on the side of one of the spurs of the Cascades.
Oh, okay.
Just off of the Blewett Pass. Anyway, so we were there and we moved in, and the nearest towns being, of course, like Leavenworth and Wenatchee. It was usually about 40 minute ride to there. We had some neighbors then, but the nearest was this, as I said, our Swiss neighbor from Estonia. Anyway, and we moved in there and settled in, and it was my mom decided that she wanted to create a vegetable garden in the back. So she recruited us kids, and we started to work on that. We also had plans for the maple trees, which were still good, and we built. We wanted to get some chickens and hogs. Decided it'd be neat to have that. My mom and them kind of had this idea, having a farm. We hadn't been able to really do that in Alaska.
Oh yeah.
A lot of bears and stuff,
right.
and deer up there.
Sure.
So anyway, so we did that. We got my dad got about, I think it was 3 or so dozen chickens and a couple of hogs, and started that. When we built, we had to fix up the coop a little bit. It was there were some things that were broken, needed repairs. We had to check. We had to clean out some snakes, and they tried to make a home there.
Oh.
And so we moved in there, and I think it was the a month after we moved there. We got in the chickens and the hogs and stuff, and I was out on the. We have the house is at the top of a slight hill. It goes up a driveway about 600 feet to a cement apron there.
Okay.
And my dad there was a studio, like a supply house, back against the woods. Maybe the apron itself from our house to the studio was maybe 50 feet.
Okay.
And this supply house, and anyway, there was. We were helping my dad. I was 11, so I was helping. There was a few boxes, the lighter things, with my older brother and sister, and it was sometime in the evening. I think it was 5 or 6 because it was before dinner. We usually had that at 6.
Okay.
And anyway, and all of a sudden, we heard a very, very creepy. God, I'll never forget it. It's kind of like a scream up on the. It sounded like it was only. That it was like on the top of the ridge, which was maybe 700, 800 feet away, but it carried. It's sort of in our house is in a valley, almost like a canyon, so it kind of reverberated, but we were pretty sure it sounded like it was coming from just up above us. And it just, we all stopped what we were doing. I looked at my dad. My dad looked at us. He looked up the hill. And I think he thought that it was like a cougar or something, or maybe even some hikers. Because there's a cabin back there that even to this day, I think that Boy Scouts and Bible youth groups and stuff would occasionally go in their summer, and they would spend some nights over there.
Okay.
So they thought it was probably just that messing around. So, and then the scream came again, and it sounded it was getting like it was closer.
No.
So it was about that time that I decided that I think he put on for the benefit of us because I was starting to get worried. He was showing it. That it was probably nothing, the forest, some animals. It wasn't quite Alaska, so there's still like we weren't entirely sure what was out there, cougars and bears, which our neighbor told us were in the vicinity, but it really bothered us. So we went inside, and we got some of the younger kids were put to bed. This was maybe, I think later, there's like 11, 10 at night on the weekend. I think it was Saturday night anyway. And my 2 younger brothers were asleep, and I was getting ready for bed. I was finishing a movie, and my dad was out in the dining room towards the back of the house, the house was sort of built up against a hill with these support beams built to hold it up. And we had, my dad was away, I think he was finishing a book or something, listening to the radio, and my older brother was doing he was on his phone or something, and anyway, my mom was, I don't remember what she was doing, but they were there, and we had these dogs. We had dogs. They were a golden retriever, Chance, and another one, Ani. She was a border collie that we got in from a neighbor who was unable to continue taking care of her. So they were both good dogs, and they suddenly started barking, and they were freaking out, and my dad's like, oh, you're going to wake up the kids. So he called my mom, and I was close enough. I heard it, and I hurried down and joined them. And my older brother was there too, and my dad. And the windows were open, and I can remember going into that corner of the house. And this place, how when you move into a new house or you get a new car, there's a strange smell, odor, that's particular to a place.
Sure.
At the produce department up in Erie, sometimes pleasant, sometimes not. And anyway, when I moved over there, and I remember that this awful smell. It was like our dogs when they've been taking a bath or something, gone wet in the rain in Alaska, only worse. And it smelled like that and garbage, like an old rotting KFC or something. It was, and it was just like when I got past the counter and through the kitchen, which is next to the dining room, that hit me.
Yeah.
And coming in the window, we had a window up in the back because it was hot and the crickets and stuff. So anyway, we went there, and I decided to investigate, of course, make sure it wasn't a bear, because we worried about the chickens we just got in and the hogs. We didn't hear anything from them, but decided to go on out. The porch light wasn't working, of course, so he had to go get some flashlights. So he and my brother had to go out there. The dogs were going crazy, so I helped my mom leash them to one of our support beams near the door, but further enough back my dad and my brother could go out. So they go out there, and my dad, of course, hunted and took a gun with him. He took a rifle. Sure. I think the older brother had one too. Okay. I'd just been holding another light, and they went back out there to look around, and there was a smell, but they didn't see anything. And they looked around. Of course, they looked on the porch. The door they were going through was on the back of the house. We have a door near our dining room that goes out onto a balcony that's built into the side of the hill, and there's a hot tub and a porch swing, and there's a few steps that lead onto the back of the hill, the yard, which built into the hill, and the chicken coop is maybe 20, 30 feet away. When you first step off, it's a little out to the you go off about 20, 30 feet to the left, and it's over there, and the hog pen was further on the right. So my dad decided they go and go to the chicken pen and look around there first. Okay. So I came over there, and the first thing my dad noticed, other than the smell, was that the padlock, which he put on the front door to go in and everything to the chicken coop, was it was not where it was. The door was slightly ajar. Oh, no. And that the padlock was on the ground. It looked like something had taken the padlock and twisted it. Twisted the padlock, not even to broken it off or cut it or anything, just twisted it and broke it and knocked it onto the ground there. And the chickens were all gone. They were all gone.
All of them?
We looked inside, and it was like all of them, every single one of them.
Oh, my
30
God.
chickens. Wow. And the strange thing is that there wasn't, if it had been a predator, there would have been, we thought, it would have been all these feathers and everything, that they would have been everywhere. But there was no sign of blood or anything, or a lot of unusually large amount of feathers. And there was that odor, the wet dog in there in that thing, but there wasn't a sign of a struggle like a predator, a bear, or a coyote. Mm-hmm. My dad thought it might still be a bear, but he also was worried that it might be maybe one of the neighbors or something. Somebody might have tried to get in and steal it.
Sure.
The burglar out there. So anyway, we went back out, and of course he's thinking, oh, what about the hogs? And so we went over there and checked it out, and it was the hogs were fine.
Okay, good.
They weren't, for some reason, they were a bit edgy. There was as hogs are. Mm-hmm. I think they smelled whatever was in the air, or they've been right there. My dad thought it was a bear. It may have been able to come in there. And anyway, and then the next they went, so he went back and told my mom what they'd seen about the chickens. And he gave my older brother another rifle too, and they went out, and together they did a perimeter sweep of the yard. They went first to the supply house that was at the end of the apron of the top of the yard driveway.
Sure.
He wanted to make sure that hadn't been broken into by whatever gone to the coop. And nothing had been touched in there. The windows and everything were intact in the door. It didn't have a padlock on it. It was just one of those ones with an actual doorknob unlocked from the inside. Okay. He had the only keys. So that was fine. And he went around the rest of the yard. They didn't see anything. He didn't notice anything, any footprints or broken branches. What he could see, most of the trees are moved and cut back to about 40, 50 feet on most of the yard. And anyway, so he came in and he told us what he found. And I think my two younger brothers were still sleeping, and my mom just wanted me, of course, to get to bed. But I wanted, of course, to stay up and find out what had happened.
Yeah.
That would have happened with chickens. any monsters or something. So anyway,
Right.
so my dad decided that he was going to stay up and see if whoever had taken the news came back, keep an eye on the hogs that were in the pen, make sure they didn't go disappearing, and that he would call the authorities in the morning, the police, and some of the neighbors, see if they'd seen anything, or and so we went to bed, but my dad mentioned that he told us to that except for my mom and my older brother and sister, he didn't want any of us going out for the next day or two.
Wow.
Until he'd made the call and put some. He wanted to get some surveillance cameras to put up and some extra lights for the back porch and all.
Sure.
Which he'd done that before the getting the chickens, of course. But
yeah.
Anyway,
that's
so
2020.
afterwards, the next time he went into. Excuse me.
I said that hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, he went into. So we went into town the next day in Wenatchee and got some of those. Got a few of those. The severe. I think they were the type with the infrared light, night motion sensor, and lights. And he got those, and he got a little bit more. He got a little more ammo, of course. And anyway, so we stayed inside, which was kind of a bummer. We wanted to go out and explore the woods, but we were excited to talk about and chat about and speculate as kids what it might have been, what could have taken the chickens. I think my parents were much better. My mom was kind of worried.
Do you think that they had
the
a
kids
concept?
and everything out in the woods like that?
Right.
He thought that it was really a human that got in. My dad was like, "Oh no, it was probably a bear or something, or kids messing around like the Boy Scouts or whatever that spent time in that cabin on the hill behind ours,
the
Hunterspur of the mountain." So anyway, after and then my dad he went out and looked for tracks. He called in the police, and they said they'd send someone look around, and that he called my neighbor, and the neighbor said that he didn't know of anybody who had trouble like that recently. And so at least not in the last decade or so.
Right.
So anyway, so they went in, and my dad, of course, he fixed up the door, got another lock for the chicken coop, but he didn't immediately get any more chickens. Kept an eye on the hogs and put up the cameras and all. And afterwards, we kept in for a couple of days. And my dad went out with my older brother SJ and my sister and the dogs, and kind of led them around, looking for a trail to see whether or not whatever had taken the chickens, there might have left something around.
Right.
And they didn't see anything, but the dogs, they avenged. I think they were halfway around the house, and they must have caught a scent or something, and they started pulling the leash and dragging towards a pleasantly thick clump of trees and brush on I think at the back of the house. It would be the southwestern direction towards Blewett Pass. And anyway, there were the trees there, and they went through and they they let the dogs have a bit of the reins, so to speak, for a while, and the dogs kept leading them deeper and deeper into the brush, and they saw a few signs that looked like things had been a log that had been broken, something stepping on it or someone. There knocked open a rotten log and some broken branches, a few snap maples. There were a lot of maples back there and all. And they went up the hill. They actually found some barbed wire that I think had been left from the earlier days. They have some old mine shafts and things around there. Oh. At the which my brother and one of my younger brothers, actually discovered by accident later. So I think a year or so later, we were playing around there, and they found the entrance to one of them. No one fell in or anything, but it was one of the ones that had been covered with dirt and leaves. And I guess they'd put this they'd had a fence or some netting around, and then the trees had grown up and everything.
Right.
I don't know where the warning sign, if they had one, was up. So anyway, my dad got rid of it, moved off to the side, and they continued. And the trail went all the way up, up the hill. And when they came across a couple, there are deer and elk trails back there that would sort of go sideways. They go up the mountain, then they turn and twist and go up, kind of a zigzagging motion, left, right.
Okay.
Some brush and trees, usually with the areas of least resistance, but whatever had the trail, it was just going practically straight up, which was odd. But anyway, we went up there, went to the trees and brush, and they got to the top and they went down, and the bottom of the other side, part of it, there are fewer trees until you get to the bottom, and there's kind of some nice area which we used to go sledding on. It's nice and wide, about 400 or 500 feet straight down. And the bottom, there's kind of a bog, a creek, some berry bushes and stuff. And that's where they went down. And then the trail, I think the dogs lost the trail in there, whatever it was, gone through the swamp water. There was some standing water here and there on the ground.
Okay.
And I guess, the dogs weren't crackers, and they weren't like Doberman pincers anyway, but I think I had trouble finding it after that. And so my dad decided, okay, we'll go back, get the authorities, and they're coming over, and talk to them. And so they didn't see, on the way, they never saw any sign of like feathers or anything like that, which again struck him as kind of unusual. It had him worried. But anyway, so he went back to the house. My sister and he and my older brother returned, told my mom about it, and we stayed in for a couple, I think like 3-4 more days at least.
Okay.
It's kind of like getting a bit of cabin fever by the end. But anyway, we continued settling in, playing games, and they talked to the cops thought it was probably a burglar or something that had gotten in, though there had been no other reports in the area of that. It's pretty remote. Really, it was. Like I said, our nearest neighbor was the Swiss logger and his company, and none of his crew was on at that time. Wow. And we thought it was unlikely it was them. So anyway, things went on with that. Mm-hmm. We got busy with other things, going to school and all. Picking up we had some fruit trees there too that, interesting enough, hadn't been touched and such. So we continued with that, and my dad, with his work and all, he kept up checking the surveillance cameras, and I think he was kind of on edge, staying up later than usual at night.
Yeah.
He kept the rifle close by, but he kept the ammunition hidden somewhere, locked up.
Okay.
He didn't want us to get into that, so anyway. And there were a lot of rodents and other pests that we had to work on. They were in the walls and stuff, driving our dogs crazy. Anyway, so. But that was the oddest thing we saw that time. There was a black bear once that went into the backyard, but it was very brief and nothing quite on the level of this, and it didn't show any interest in the chicken coop or anything. But there weren't chickens in it at the time anyway.
Okay.
But
the hogs were never messed with.
It didn't come around.
The pigs were never messed with, huh?
No, the pigs were never messed with.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Huh.
The chickens. The chickens were the only thing that disappeared, about 3 dozen of them. And it was really weird. We never had chickens, of course, before, but we never heard about anything like that in Alaska.
Right.
Sitka, it's on an island. Everybody pretty much knew everybody. I mean, everybody.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot of crime or anything back in 2000. So anyway.
Yeah, Don and I...
We went down there and...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I was going to say, Don and I checked out a story of somebody missing chickens. They had like 30 or 29, and they were down to like 9.
Yeah.
And there was no feathers there either. They were just like taken. And there was no blowout of feathers or anything like that. And that was something that we both noticed, was that these are just gone. They're not like there was any struggle or anything. It was just they were taken. They were gone. And never did find out where they went.
I think that's why my mom and my older brother weren't entirely convinced that it was a bear, because it had been what kind of a bear can take away 3 dozen chickens without, making a mess of it. And we didn't find any of the other chickens, so
right.
I figured it had to have been a human being. And the way the lock was twisted like that was also kind of odd. They could have just picked it or something, or cut it, to keep it. Instead, it looks like something had just twisted it. And I never heard about anybody doing that to a padlock before. Those things are steel and all. Right. So, but we continue with get busy, and it was, I think, about a week, maybe a week or 2 later. It was evening time, and my brother and I and our 2 younger brothers had gone out after dinner. I think it was around 8 in the evening, and we went on a walk. There are this network of roads that lead from our house to the actual highway, and we went on a walk along one of those. We'd been in town the previous day, and we got in some sodas, and we were just sort of joking around on a walk, and we were heading back to the house. We were about a quarter of a mile away, and on this road, and off of Highway 97, and there's this sort of outcrop of trees and rocks and everything that the road loops around, and then it kind of has an area where the creek next to it the Shaston Creek, Ingalls Creek. Ingalls Creek is the one that runs through. It's slower, and so a person can. We would sometimes go down there. My dad thought that might be a good place to fish. It looked like the wildlife frequented that. There were some berries and stuff there and rose hips.
Aiden.
So
just hold that thought, because we're going to end up with a break here. And then we got a half hour of show to go. So just hold on to the rest of those thoughts, and I'm going to put you back on hold, and we'll come back to you after the break. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our last break of the night, and we'll be right back with Aiden and the rest of his story of living in mid Washington and all of the weirdness they had. So don't go away. Lots more yet to come. Half hour left. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
The reviews for extended.
Ladies and gentlemen, last half hour of our show tonight has been flying by, but we are cruising through the night. And hopefully you're having a good time with us. It's our first show of the brand new year, so we're commemorating 2021 in the best fashion we know how. Right, Don?
Yes, and hopefully we don't have to go to the post-apocalyptic fashion. Because, you know, it's Mad Max year, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, we've got to put all of our Aussie friends on notice. They have to let us know if anybody that looks like Mad Max pops up in the next few days.
Yeah, if you start seeing Mel Gibson driving a real beat-up car.
Or Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Well, true. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see the new one. But...
Or you know, Charlize Theron, you know, in a big, giant, you know, truck, you know.
There you go.
Or,
anybody driving monster trucks full
Joe.
of cages and spikes, let us know.
Somebody yelling, mediocre!
Right now, we are joined. Yeah, let us know. Right now, we are joined, of course, by Aiden, who's calling in, and he's sharing some experiences he and his family had living in Washington State. And so far, we've been on a journey here, but we've covered that they bought a house up in the mountains. They had decided to make kind of a hobby farm out of the place with a couple pigs, a bunch of chickens, and a vegetable garden, and they heard screams from the hill up above. And a couple of times moving closer towards the house, they were all inside, caught this weird smell, really vile smell coming in through the open windows, and went out to check on their farm and found all of their chickens were gone, and the lock was twisted off of the chicken coop. And so we're going to see where we're going from here. Are you there, Aiden?
I am, Brent.
All right, brother. So take us home on this. So you were talking about that you guys lost the chickens and just all of the buildup after that. But where are we going now?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks after the chickens were stolen by who or what we don't know at the time. My dad thought that it was probably a bear or burglars. My mom was more leaning, I think, towards the burglars when the police came over, but they didn't really find anything substantive. They put the report and all. And we just kind of, my dad wanted to keep us in that, you know, my older sister and brother, my mom, and my two younger brothers inside the house for the next couple of days. So he and my mom, my dad and my mom, and my older siblings were allowed to go out during the day and the evening to take care of the hogs, which interestingly enough had not been bothered by whatever had happened to the chickens, nor had the storehouse at the end of our driveway on the apron. And so we were kind of on edge, but gradually, you know, day went by and there was no sign of anything, bears or anything like that. Things just kind of settled down. We got busy planning for school and my dad's work and everything. They moved from Alaska. And so 2 weeks later in the evening, and I was with my two younger brothers and my older brother, SJ. We had gotten some soda in the nearby town, Wenatchee. And we were on a walk, and we were on this stretch of road, about a quarter mile from our house, back in the woods off of Highway 97, near Blewett Pass. And we were coming back, and we were talking about games and our plans and stuff. And I noticed that we were going on this road. There's this outcropping on the left side of it. It kind of follows the edge of a sort of rising cliff near Ingalls Creek, and which flows through Blewett Pass. And it was maybe 20, 30 feet above the creek. We were on the top of this road that's sort of between that was built next to the creek and the mountain, to the mountainside. And there was this sort of a spur of rock and trees on our left, the creek on the right. And we were coming around this thing when there's an area a little further beyond that, like 15 yards, where it gets the ground, the creek is higher. It's more level with the road again. And this is a good area. We'd been there before with my dad on a walk, and we found some nice berries and wild berries and rose hips. And there were some fish and stuff. So they thought that it would be a good idea for us to we maybe go and fish or something. We'd never really been an outdoors family in Alaska, in Alaska. But my dad wanted to kind of, I think he's done kind of get into some of that, spend more time with the kids.
Right.
So anyway, we were all going along on this walk, and we come to the area, and we're on the road, and we're talking and everything, and suddenly we notice, I think it was myself or ISJ, noticed that Rick, my younger brother, the baby of the family, had stopped. And he just sort of slowed his pace and he completely stopped. He was looking at something off to the right near that area in the creek, and I kind of looked that way, and I think Rick noticed as well. SJ, excuse me, our oldest brother, we looked off, and it was about 15 yards off from us. There was what looked like a person didn't see anything, and then I noticed that near the edge of the tree there were some trees, and there's the creek. Well, there was something darker against the darkness of the bark of the trees, the pines there, and it looked like to be like a monkey from one of these things. And I've always been kind of afraid of apes and monkeys, watching horror movies growing up and stuff in Alaska.
Sure.
It used to give me nightmares. I got over that now, but I used to have this real fear of apes. But it looked like it was something out of my nightmares, like an ape it was hunched down on all fours next to the creek. My brother thought at first, oh my gosh, this is a bear, and we don't have a gun or anything or phone. We're about a quarter mile from the nearest house, so but anyway, we thought it was that it was a bear that maybe come down to probably to get some fish or something at this time, and it was September. So anyway, but so we were there, and the first thing I remember was that on seeing it, the creature, it was when it was kneeling and crunching down, and it looked like it was doing something, and it looked over at us, and it sort of hesitated. It was covered in, of course, fur. It looked really dirty and kind of thick and matted and hard, particularly on its arms. I think it had its arms in the water. It was doing something there.
Okay.
It had kind of a sloping forehead.
Wow.
Not quite the how the foreheads of humans kind of roll out from the brow and forward. This one's was a lot more, what do you call it? More. Is it concave? It was a lot more flatter. And the eyes were sort of sunken in, almost like you see in some of these movies when the dead people and stuff.
Yeah.
They had, I don't remember, they didn't, it was 40 feet away, but it looked like it's just like these black eyes, kind of grayish black. And those was like reminded of a gorilla. It was not as angular as a person's. It was sort of sunk in. This thing, it did have turned its head without even moving its shoulders. It would turn its head and everything. It was like washing something, I guess, because its arms were wet, the hair and everything there. And it looked almost like, first we thought it was a bear, then my brother thought it might have been a man, because the hair on its head was slightly longer, and it sort of hung down its head, almost like have you seen pictures of orangutans? I believe that the ones they look like they have hair that's longer, almost like a human's, or a woman's, like it sort of hangs down. This stuff was kind of stringy, and it was hanging on either side of its head. I didn't see any ears or horns or anything.
Okay.
So, but towards the back and everything, the hair hung down. That the rest of it it was the same color as the rest of the hair on its body. Wow. Its chest was massive. It was like to make Schwarzenegger look like Pee Wee Herman or something. It was, and it had almost like it gave it sort of, I think, that conical shape. I think it made it look like it just, you couldn't even see the neck or anything. It was massive.
So what happened?
And this was when it was crouched over.
Right.
Well, we were looking at it. We stared at it, and we were just so shocked, especially my poor brother Rick, and it was only 7 and I was 11. So anyway, we were just sort of shocked by this, but. At first, it felt like hours, but I think it was just a few seconds. But it seemed kind of like it had been doing something. I guess it had maybe been drinking water or cleaning something. Okay. Maybe the berries there. And because I think we caught it off guard, which is odd. I know going around the corner there, the sharp turn, I think that the wind was blowing when we were down. I think it was we were downwind of it, that it didn't smell us or whatever, and it must have been intent on whatever it was doing near the water. We kind of caught it by surprise. It seemed a little like, off guard, not sure what to do. It was sort of sizing us up. 5 kids, The biggest of us just being 5'11", 5'9". So
sure.
And then we stood there, we watched it, it looked at us, and then it slowly stood up, and there was a tree branch that we later measured when it stood up and everything to its head height.
Yep.
That's its head height, and this thing was at least, I think we measured about 8 inches, 8 feet 4 inches, something like that.
Wow.
So
wow, that's hardcore.
And then it stared at us, and the thing was just that it was completely still. It was almost like blending in. If we'd walked by, can you walk by? Had been for Rick noticing it, we might have just walked by. It was being so silent, and when it stood up, it was just like one swift motion. And it got up from what it had been on its knees, I guess, and back its heels.
Man.
Sort of hunched over, been cleaning the things, and when it got up, it was like, oh my goodness, it's a gorilla or something, because we'd heard about the things called Bigfoot, but it never really been a big thing. We'd watched Harry and the Hendersons and stuff,
right.
And I was always kind of scared of that at the beginning before
sure.
It's going to eat the Mr. Henderson. So it was something like that, but the hair was a lot darker, and it looked like like something that lived in the wild, like a human surviving in the wild, with a lot of hair and everything. It was disgusting, and it just looked at us, and then I think it started to. I think it was the first one to move, and it just sort of went up the hill. It was about maybe 10, 15 feet up the side of the road, went up to there, and it never took its eyes off us.
Wow.
It was walking as if by just knowing where it was stepping, and it never tripped or anything. It took up steps up there, and there the road across on the other side with the woods, and it was about like 20 feet across the short back road, and this thing took probably I think it was just 2-3 steps, massive steps, and it was across the road just like that. Wow. And it looked at us again, its body, and then it sort of ran into the woods. And the thing I remember after that is the smell.
Oh.
And it was the same smell that evening with the chickens.
Oh,
so I thought, I wondered if that was the same thing that had gotten the chickens.
Right.
Because that would maybe something, or I don't know if it was one or more of them, of these things, what they were. If Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever.
Sure.
It seemed to fit what I've studied since then, what a Sasquatch like. But this was the first one we actually seen in the flesh, and
that's
it was amazing. I'll never forget that.
No, I don't blame
2017, and it's like the other day. It's now I'm thinking it's like awesome, so amazing.
It is.
And
it's
really into Bigfoot.
It's such an amazing thing to
I think
see.
my dad had heard. Yeah, I mean, excuse me.
I was such an amazing thing, I'm sure, for you to see.
Oh yeah, nothing like it. I mean, I always wanted to see bears, and I remember how amazing it was when I finally saw one. Being chased by some tourists, kept crashing across a creek 20, 30 feet away from us, heading down a road.
Oh, wow.
But never really got close enough.
Sure.
It wasn't exactly a petting zoo when I went there in Alaska, but that was amazing.
Yeah.
I read the books by Larry Canute about Alaska bear tales, 2 books, but this was something else. It's amazing. And I guess we shouldn't have been surprised, but it just wasn't one of those things that we thought would happen when we moved to Washington, the middle of nowhere in the Cascades. It's just, my dad, he believes in things like ghosts, or at least the possibility of them, but I don't think any of us really took Sasquatch seriously. I think my mom and them kind of downplayed it. So wouldn't scare the kids and everything.
Did you share that with your dad?
We had enough monkey nightmares and everything.
Yeah. Did you share that with your dad?
I'm sorry?
Did you share with him the story of seeing this thing?
Yes, we did. So back to where they're on the road. So this thing went in there, and I guess maybe it was like 5, 10 minutes. Like I said, it seemed like longer, but I think my older brother, SJ, was the first one to stir, and he told us to start slowly going up the hill. Made a large circle of the road there. We had to go past where it had disappeared, keeping an eye on it to get to the house.
Right.
And it seemed like ages getting back to the house. I remember the adrenaline hit me. I think I was so busy looking at this thing and taking it in that I realized that I was literally shaking. My legs felt like they'd turned to boiled pasta or something. I felt like I was fighting against gravity suddenly just to get there. And I kept looking over my shoulder but worrying and everything, hoping that I wouldn't see it looking out at us again, or it wouldn't follow us through that or through the woods. And I never heard anything like you'd expect something that big. I guess whatever this thing was, it was pretty graceful. It didn't make any branches or snapping or anything. It was more silent than some deer I've come across. Sometimes, they make some noise as they move through the woods. But this thing was stealthy, and we hurried back, and I kept expecting to see its face, looking at us out through the woods or whatever, and it seemed like forever. We finally got to our driveway, the driveway which separated into several smaller ones, and our house was the furthest one, of course. I finally got back home, and we just kind of went crazy with telling them. I mean, going through the door to tell Mom and Dad, my oldest sister, what we'd seen. The dogs were going crazy. I think they smelled whatever it was on us. We brought them with us because we left that odor in the air, the wet dog. And anyway, so we tried telling our stories, and we couldn't really get something coherent out at first. My dad was becoming more frustrated, so he finally told us to be quiet and had SJ explain what we'd seen. And definitely like I had my mom and sister's full attention too, and but I don't know. I think they believed us that we'd seen something, but I think my dad was either downplaying it or I believed that we'd just seen a Bigfoot. A bear in that area. We have lots of black bears, and that merely been what we'd seen. It probably come down to get fish or whatever, because most of the time when nobody's on that road at that time of day, everyone's come home from work. The few neighbors we have, and so I don't think that whatever it was expecting there to be someone on the road. Why didn't hear us? It might have been because the hill there, the way we were talking and everything, didn't catch the noises or smell us. So anyway, we came home, and we tried telling my dad about that, and he of course kind of downplayed it as it was probably a bear or something. That Sasquatch, which what my SJ thought it might be, was probably was real. That it was it was legends and stuff like that. Local folklore, it wasn't any more real than dragons or gremlins in your microwave or whatever, and so therefore, he was a pretty practical man. As far he would say he was a radiologist, so he wasn't really given to that kind of thing. And being in Alaska, I think we watched the movies, but that was pretty much all it ever was. It was just like a kind of a family thing to do, watching the Harry and the Hendersons or whatnot.
Well, that's pretty amazing.
So anyway, which I thought was weird, because I think that even then he thought, he believed in ghosts and everything.
Right.
And, and the house
obviously he has an open mind.
It's had some weird.
He's obviously got
I
said he's obviously got an open mind a little bit there. So it's kind of funny that he shut the door on the Sasquatch, but he opens it for the ghostly thing. Yeah.
I think my mom was kind of undecided on it, probably leaning towards it. I mean, I think she was at this point willing to. This is a new house and everything, and wilderness to a little more open to it. The babies were out there in the woods, we're seeing. As my older sister, I think she believed it. She might have thought she might have thought later that we were just kind of pulling their leg, and we'd seen a bear or something, or freaking out. She was, I think she didn't agree with Dad, the calmer of the group. So anyway, so when we did that, and we were still uneasy, and but I think it was that my dad noticed that he was worried that we're freaking out and scaring younger kids, so he kind of he got a little upset at Jay and I, in particular the elder two, and stopped scaring them, and that it was nothing but a bear, and so we were kind of a little disappointed about that. I mean, some of his arguments did seem at the time he did have a point. I think we all had some trouble being in this new place, out in the middle of nowhere, without scaring each other with tales of big hairy ape monsters or whatever waiting to get us. Right? So we were still unconvinced, however, and I think that we just kind of got together, the witnesses, and tried to we just kind of talked with each other in a room about it and tried to make sense of what we'd seen.
Right.
We did it. I don't think any of us, even SJ, thought that it was a bear when it stood up like that, an 8-foot four, and then walked across the road. And he'd never seen anything. None of us had like that, not even on the NGS. So
I got to give you guys.
It was amazing.
I got to give you guys a lot of credit though, because you actually went back out there and you measured, that stick when it stood out, and you guys.
Well, we went out there. But we went out at high noon. We went out at high noon. We never went out later than 7 in the evening in the wintertime.
Wow.
For a long time.
That's really powerful, man.
But it was amazing. It was probably the most incredible experience that I've ever had. Nothing or anything compared to it.
Right.
Not even when I was almost hit by a car a couple years ago. That was close, but that's another story. But anyway, it's still amazing.
No other appearances by it at the house, though, huh? It never came back or took any of the other livestock, huh?
Well, I moved here in Western Washington. My folks still live in that house, and they still have it. They've heard things. Like the howls and screams. Been a couple of years. I think the last one was 2015, 2014. My dad was out there. He was actually at the house at the time. My mom was still shopping. And we had a cat then. It's a cat, and she suddenly starts going crazy and going out to the window and looking around and all alert like they. And he thought, well, maybe it's a mouse or something or a bear.
Sure. And
he heard the owl or scream. And it was like the one that he'd heard almost 10 years earlier. And he'd actually, he had his own kind of experience, ironically, a couple of years after this one. It was early, and I think it was 2005.
We only got about
in the winter time,
we almost only got about a couple minutes left of the show, so I don't want you to break into a whole nother story.
I'm sorry, I'll try to wrap.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
But any final thoughts?
I didn't mean to hog the line.
No, it's great. I love your story.
Yeah, well, it was 2005, and he was going out to get the mail and everything. It was at the end of the driveway, and then the communal driveway that our one attaches to. So probably about 800, 900 feet down. So we usually in that self, it's just a walk, not a walking exercise. But anyway, he went down there and he was going to get ready to do that, and we have a window and we were at the top of the hill. So, and he looked out at that, and it was I think 6 or something in the morning, and he saw what my brother and I saw all those years ago. I don't remember. I can't remember. He said that it was smaller or larger than that. I think it was shorter, but it was at least it wasn't a bear, and it was going across the road at the bottom there. Towards our neighbor's backyard, which is a few, like 100, 200 feet away, the Swiss logger, and behind that. And I think that kind of made me think, maybe there was something. So he started keeping an open mind, and he listened to, he looked into things like coast to coast. There wasn't very much back then about Bigfoot on even coast to coast, but he remembered hearing, I think it was later, like 2008 or 9, that he learned that that's one of the things that one of the means by which it's believed that Bigfoot can communicate to another is by howling and screaming, like the Ohio howl. How they communicate, like with tree knock, to another one. So that might have been what we heard, eating or Sasquatch getting ready to, I guess, to steal our chickens or something.
Right.
I don't know if they ever ate them or what they did with them. Could have set them free for all we know. So anyway, because there was no blood or anything.
Right.
These cruel humans. So anyway.
Well, thank you so much.
But I live in, but we lived in Western Washington, and I still go back over there. But they had the howls, and one time at night something came up and hit the house. But never saw anything, and it's just I think they still get some activity. Actually, most of the activity, some of the other things we got is something in the actual house. Something I think it has I think it's haunted. It had some weird things that happened in that.
Well, we're gonna have to save that save that for another show, brother, because we're all out of time here. But thank you so much, Aiden, for calling in. It's really great. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, and please call back. I'd love to hear from you again.
I will. Thank you for having me on.
Okay.
I'm glad to contribute, and talk to you again later.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks, Aiden.
All right, folks. Don, we're all out of time, brother.
We're out of time, yeah.
Aiden brought us through the second half of the show, but that was a great story.
That was awesome.
Really great story. So, and ladies and gentlemen, if you ever have something to share like that, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, I'd like to share something.
Oh, go ahead.
I actually know people from Sitka, Alaska.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. Oh, well, whatever.
Oh, well, small world. Well, it's great to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our first show of the year. Don, anything in closing?
No, just remember Teespring is out there if you want to get your portal gear. And I survived the fall from the roof. I'm okay.
Woo!
I appreciate all of you.
And that's what we got, folks. We love you bunches. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here with us tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night with some night terrors, and hope you'll join me then, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody. And roll the credits.
Good night.